Hi everybody, this is Dena, your sister in purpose. This is my new home set, and I hope that you find it warm, inviting. I hope it makes you feel comfortable, like you could just kind of take your shoes off and sit down and stay a while and hang out. Because the thing is that when we're talking about different elements of purpose and your journey to you and uncovering your divine spark, you have these intimate conversations. So I was trying to create a warm and inviting space to do that. So let me know if I've hit the mark with that. So I wanted to talk with you about each of the different elements of the future state that I discussed in the welcome address that talked about your shift from here to here. So the first thing that I mentioned was being non-negotiable about the fact that you are here and you are here for a reason. So when you're non-negotiable about that, you're unswayed. It's nothing that anyone could tell you that to convince you otherwise. It's nothing that situations could convince you otherwise. So regardless of what's going on in your personal life, in your community, in the bigger community, because we have a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of unsettling things going on right now. And you know what? Your purpose still lives in the middle of all of that. And actually, you can find some solace. You can find some grounding in going within and connecting with that. So what does that look like? So what that looks like is just a constant surrender to understanding more about yourself. It's a constant intention of understanding more about yourself and about your journey than where you are. And the minute that you profess that, the minute that you ask that sincere ask, consciously you're on a journey. I really think that all of life is the journey, but when we wake up to it, I guess that's what I'm talking about. That would be the beginning at a conscious level when we wake up to it. And it's not about trading your life and all the different things and all the normality and all of the routine of life for something else. No, it's not. It's about living an intentional life, and just being open to what avails itself to help you to understand you. So I like to, after that, for me personally, after making that declaration, just really having my prayer and meditation time spoke volumes. It just opened things up. Actually, it helped me to calm and to center myself regardless of what was going on in my life, what was going on inside of me, and just really being able to connect with the commitment that I made to my life at this point, which is to understand and connect with my purpose. And so I would spend time, sacred time, and I would journal, and I would just, I like to be outside or close to outside. So I would be in the same place, same time, just there and just available. And eventually I started to receive divine downloads. And divine downloads to me sounded like, go look at this up. So one day I had a divine download to look up the word purpose and to look up the word economy. And it ended up being the exact day that the book, The Purpose Economy, was released. And so I got it. I devoured it. Devoured. It was like an affirmation that it was like a big neon sign that said, you are here. Here meaning where you're supposed to be. Like I connected with a divine appointment. Like this is the perfect time to have this type of internal contemplation, and it's happening throughout the world. It's happening. It's popping up all over the place because it's the next big evolution. So just like technology was a big evolution, now we're coming into the purpose economy. And I mean, that's the premise of the book. And there are all types of wonderful examples of how organizations are structuring around that, and creating space for that, and having contemplation at an organizational level, and allowing space for their employees to connect with that, and just how individuals are looking for, just in general, a life of meaning. So that didn't necessarily tell me that what my path was, but it just affirmed that other people were contemplating that, and it affirmed that this is something real. This is something real. And it just allowed me to be grateful. So that's another thing that happens when you're non-negotiable. When you're non-negotiable, it's just like you have such gratitude at every new point of knowledge, new point of information, new experience, while you are learning more, because that was your ask. And so you're just in gratitude. And then I started to be in gratitude before I even got a divine download. Like once I got that divine download and had that experience, I was hooked. I was convinced. I didn't need any more convincing. I became non-negotiable. So I just started having time, and my prayer life was thank you. It was thank you. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of snowballed. So it was like having a sacred practice. Just having a sacred practice and just creating space for that experience. And then I had an experience, and then I was grateful. And then I set out, I gave thanks because I knew more experiences were coming. I just went from a belief that more experiences were coming to a knowing that more experiences were coming. And I got quiet. I got really quiet. And because I just intuitively, I guess I just knew that this was for me. This experience, was for me. And not everyone would rah-rah that or would even get it or whatever, but it was still my experience. And it was sacred to me. And I just surrendered to it, I suppose. I surrendered to it. And it's like once I had a download to do one thing, it would lead to another thing, and then I would find a community that I didn't know existed online, and then I would find another one, and it just kind of snowballed. And so let me be specific. So finding community. So I kind of followed these breadcrumbs. So when I found thinking that just resonated with me, so before I had language around it, it just resonated with me. And so I would, go to social media. I would go to Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and just start to, read up about the person. And then I would find another person, or I would find a list of thought leaders in this area. And I would follow them. I would create my own communities, my own lists, using various social media platforms. And then in my thread, like all I was getting fed. So when I was in my caterpillar stage, all I was being fed were things that fed my purpose. Like I went on a purpose diet. Yeah. And so I got a divine download and got some information that was kind of like a start. And then I took that and I just created like a cuisine, like a meal from that. And that's what I would see every day. So I stopped looking at, I took a time out. I stopped looking at a lot of the individual things that were going on with my friends and family. Still love them, still care for them, but I was non-negotiable. I became non-negotiable. And so I had to get fed my own stuff. I loved the different things that people were sharing about their lives and what they were doing. But when I got non-negotiable about my purpose, I really wanted to have my own purposeful experience for me. So I still celebrate everyone else and their experiences, but I needed to have an authentic, purposeful experience and outpouring in my life. And so that's what I did. And it just yielded experiences and understanding that I'll have to just kind of break that down and share different things and different snippets, because it's just so much to unpack. But that was the beginning, the non-negotiable, and the being available, and the receiving, and the being grateful, and then being intentional about what I was receiving moving forward after I got an appetite for what was available to me. So I hope that serves you. I hope that supports you. And I'd love to hear your stories about how you're being fed your purpose diet, about how you're connecting with the different modalities, the different knowledge that's out there for you, and how you're filtering through what resonates with you and taking action, and how you're creating your library of content based on what resonates with you at a soul level, and how you're using that, and how that's shaping your thinking and shaping your life. I'd love to hear about it. So I will talk to you soon. This is your sister in purpose.